Big time fight coming up this weekend at welterweight. We have the former title challenger, 170-185 in Demian Maia. And listen, does the cowboy ride on after this fight? Because this is, of course, Demian Maia's last fight on his contract. He's almost 44 years old. He's taken on, remember the name, Belal Muhammad. And Matt, for the bully, 18-3 so far in his interesting career. I mean, a guy that spent some time with Bellator. He's won more than he's lost with the UFC. And his last time, it was a main event on incredibly short notice where he was coming off a win over Diego Lima. He took on Leon Rocky Edwards. Rocky had his way with it until that errant eye poke, and then another one, and then that ended the fight. It was really gross. Since then, Belal Muhammad, he's ended up on the desk with Alan Jouban and Karen Bryant. A little bit awkward because they had a fight of the night together, but in this fight, it is very interesting. Belal Muhammad, is he a striker after his last fight? And for Demian Maia, as is customary with all Demian Maia fights, I have to read you straight from the record books. He is tied for 5th most UFC appearances at 32. His overall record in the UFC, 22-10. Again, title challenges against Anderson Silva, one against a really, really tough out his last time out in your champion. And listen, 2nd in wins with 22, like I said. Tied for 8th in finishes with 12. 2nd most submission wins at 11. 4th in cage time, 6 hours, 34 minutes, and 40 seconds. And 2nd in control time, 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 6 seconds. This guy's been there and done that. It's a really tough fight. I know, listen, it's not all that long ago that he knocked out Ben Askren just like Jake Paul did. Or, sorry, he submitted him. And then he got knocked out by Gilbert Burns the last time out over a year ago. So, long time off for Demian Maia coming out of Demian Maia's Jiu-Jitsu. He's taken on Valley Flow Striking Systems and Rufus Sports Belal Muhammad. What do you have here? Because I know you love these guys.
It's a really interesting fight because for Belal Muhammad, there's two versions of him. Like you had said, he does have that kind of wrestling-heavy version of him, like we saw against Chance Rencounter, for instance. Or he does have the more striking-focused aspect of his game. Now, he can't take down Demian Maia. Not that he can't. He shouldn't. He can. I'm sure he's more than able to. It's just not a good idea because Demian Maia to this day, even almost at 44 years of age, which is wild to say, like this guy's 43 and still competing in the top 15 of the welterweight division. But even at 43, like this is a guy you don't really want to be grappling with. Now, with Belal Muhammad, it'll be interesting. I think he's a fighter who does really rely on his wrestling to open up his striking, but the fact that Demian Maia gets rid of basically that half of your game, it's going to make Belal Muhammad strike for the whole 15 minutes. Now, I think Belal Muhammad is a much better striker than Demian Maia, don't get me wrong. The one X factor, though, is Belal Muhammad can get clipped and he can go down. Like, we've seen him not only get knocked out, but drop multiple times before. It's not like Demian Maia is a crippling puncher by any means. He doesn't have great power by any means, but he's got an okay straight left. And if he does land it, I do think he could at least wobble Muhammad to the point where Maia might be able to secure the takedown. But other than that extremely specific sequence of events, I don't know how Demian Maia wins this fight.
So if you go back and you have a look at Demian Maia's 5-on-in, there's the loss to Kamaru Usman 3 years ago. He beats Lyman Good by sub. He beats Rocco Martin by majority decision. He beats Ben Askren by submission in a main event that they buried in Singapore. And then you have that loss to Gilbert Burns where that was kind of gross to watch. Like, it just kind of hurt your soul a little bit. Again, for Belal Muhammad, he was on an absolute heater coming into that fight against Edwards. Win over Curtis Millender, PFL's own. Finish win over Takashi Sato. A big win over Lyman Good. It was a weird one. And then he beats Diego Lima. And he looked like a great striker in that fight. Credit where credit's due. So, ultimately, it comes down to game planning. Demian Maia is going to strike to get it to the mat to try and finish you. Belal Muhammad can do it some different ways. He's also 11 years younger, so we'll see how that plays effect into this one. Again, I expect Valley Flow Striking Systems to have a good game plan in plan for Belal, who's had some time to get ready for this fight. For Demian Maia, it's been over a year. It's a swan song. You want a good performance to cap off your UFC career.
He does. I just don't think this is the opponent that he's going to be able to do it against. When you look at the counter wrestling and the offensive wrestling of Belal Muhammad, he's the one who's going to be able to dictate where this fight takes place. And honestly, if you don't think Belal Muhammad's that good of a striker, you haven't been paying attention recently because he really has made massive improvements in his striking. And I do see it going by way of Belal Muhammad. Unless he TKOs Demian Maia like due to exhaustion in between rounds, I see this being an easy decision win for Muhammad.
So we have a look at the odds. Muhammad opened a minus 220 favorite. He's a minus 241 right now. For Demian Maia, open a plus 185. He's now at a plus 192. And if we have a look at Tapology, it's a surprise to us as it is to you. 1,056 total votes, 71% Muhammad, like you said, 78% by decision. The 29% that have Maia, 74% by submission. So let us know down below in the comments section who you have winning. Is it going to be the ultimate legend, the former two-time title challenger, Demian Maia? He's a Hall of Famer in my book. but maybe not the UFC's book, taking on Belal Muhammad. Matt, both of us going with remember the name, Belal Muhammad. Absolutely love the fight. Great main card coming up. You're not going to want to miss any of those videos. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say, let's get into it.